everyone. This is update for May 6, 2024, day 803 of the war, and of the date update. Also catch up for May 5 and 4. I'm going to focus today mostly on political side of the war because there is a significant escalation happening between the two sides. By two sides, I mean West and Russia, or I would say Russia. Uh, and it's happening on multiple fronts, and that's why I'm mentioning it's very serious. It's not just one isolated event. It's a lot of related but separate events, which indicate that this is, there are serious things going on behind the scenes. First, I want to mention. I'll start with actually Poland. What you see on the picture is person named Thomas Schmidt. He is allegedly judge in Poland who fled to Belarus, and he is giving press conference in Belarus where he's stating that he's against the current policy of the Polish government, and that Poland is essentially puppet of the UK and US, and he's against this and all of that. The most important part is not really his message, which is pretty standard propaganda message. The role of this person is actually down the road could be head of the puppet government. So if there is a war, he probably would be head of the Free Polish Government, or whatever it's called, that's located in Belarus. And if Belarus and Russia manage to capture any Polish territory, he will be quickly moved to that and declare some new pro-Russian government in Poland. So that's really the role of this person. It goes back to the how KGB was operating and taking control of various countries in the past. So and this person sort of showed up and speaking publicly. It's the first step in making him sort of publicly recognizable and sort of legal person who sort of could be potentially down the road presented as representative of the Polish people. The second part of this story of the escalation is that Russian government suddenly started declaring most of Ukrainian politicians as criminals and added to the wanted list. That didn't happen in the past. So, for example, current Ukrainian president was declared, and it happened over the past 3-4 days. Then former Ukrainian president, and there's a bunch more people, like another like 10 people roughly, former politicians, high-ranking, officials, and so on. So this is again not isolated. All of these people suddenly become criminals and on the wanted list in Russia. Then there is this rumor was spread, which I believe by Russia, that there is that the soldiers from the French Foreign Legion are fighting in Ukraine near Slavyansk, or actually Chasiv Yar, which is obviously false information, but that allowed to first of all call French and then also UK ambassadors and threaten them, and also use that as excuse to start doing sort of war drills with tactical nuclear weapons. So there's a very clear message sent to the West that we are prepared to use tactical nuclear message, and the message was even more sort of ominous, is that it's not going to be used against Ukraine, but it's going to be used mostly against West, so-called centers of decision making in the West. And then there's obviously wave of propaganda on Russian TV, how Russia is going to wipe out through nuclear strike entire of the UK and so on. So this again, not isolated event. So as you can see, there's quite a bit of escalation happening, and it's actually mostly initiated. It's coming from Russia. Um, that's all in terms of this political developments. Now I'm going to switch to the situation on the battlefield. Things are obviously not developing great for Ukraine, as everybody is aware, and sort of, let's say, logically, and there is good reason for that. It's just not random coincidence. It's all sort of result of the past actions and the current actions. And just to give you an example of how poorly Ukrainian troops are managed, is that head of Ukrainian military had to go to the front line near west of Avdiivka, where there is biggest problem. We'll get there for 2 days. He stated to manage, to micromanage basically defensive actions there, and to the point that apparently uh, the troops there could not get any reserves and reinforcements, so he basically was sending some reinforcements and reserves to the most threatened areas. So this kind of gives you rigidity of the system that's totally not flexible, that you need to have head of Ukrainian military to uh, to be on the ground in the threatened area in order to bring reserves to this area, which is should be happening automatically, naturally, without you know uh, micromanaging from the very very top of Ukrainian military. And this is emblematic of the general problem in Ukrainian army, where uh, simply commanders at all levels, they are super disempowered, and uh, they basically transmission tools for the very very top, going all the way back to president and then his head of Ukrainian military. And such system is simply is not competitive relative to the Russia, to how Russia operates. Russia is not advanced, sort of does not have a really advanced system, organization, and so on, but it's still ways better than this completely uh, rigid, I would say, feudal system that effectively Ukraine has, and it's simply that's one of the biggest sort of sources of the problem. And as I mentioned, that all problems that Ukraine is experiencing with defensive operations are all traced back to Ukrainian president and to Ukrainian military top, because that all of that originates there. It's not question of people on the ground. So now I'm going to switch and do walks through the front line in a clockwise fashion, as I always do. So the first situation along the state border was Russia. There are constantly rumors circulating about Russia, imminent Russian attack from Belgorod and Kursk region towards Kharkiv and Sumy as their initial objectives, and eventually potentially Kiev. Uh, uh, I mentioned it before. Russia does not have enough resources. They may do some kind of like incursion action, but that's sort of in a way going to be as useless as what Ukrainian command was doing with those incursion in the Belgorod region of Russia, because to do something meaningful and have any success, Russia really needs about 300,000 to 500,000 soldiers, which they don't have at this moment. Second reason, as I mentioned before, there is much better place to utilize this, whatever they have, 20, 30,000 on the border near west of Avdiivka, because Russia has objectively success. They struck in a weak point of Ukrainian defense, and it's collapsing. And if they pump more resources into it, there could be really devastating collapse of Ukrainian front line. So that's another sort of logic there. At the same time, I have to say that Russia is actively shelling and attacking with missiles Kharkiv and Sumy, which is obviously sign of potential plans to for sort of more active moves rather than just simply shelling and attacking with missiles. Now let's move to the situation on the North Luhansk front line. Things here become active. Russian troops are attacking in multiple locations. Most notably is in up in the north towards Kupyansk. Russian troops captured village Kyslivka and Kotlyarivka, which essentially one one village. Just they extremely close to each other, and it makes sense that they both got lost. But again, goes back to the situation with Ukrainian troops overall everywhere on every single line of the on every single section of the front line are sort of becoming more and more sort of softer and ready to retreat under strong enough pressure of Russian troops. If we move to the southern sector of the same front line, things a little bit more stable, and that's driven more by the fact that there are more motivated units here, specifically Azov, which helps to hold the line in this area. Now let's look at the situation on the North Donbass front line. So Russian troops also got active in the northern sector now, and obviously the objective is this town Siversk. No meaningful successes here, and it does seem that this is more of a distraction rather than true area of where Russian command is seeking for any meaningful outcome. The Russian troops actively attacking towards Chasiv without truly meaningful success. They kind of bogged down here so far. Doesn't mean that's going to last forever, but so far there's no meaningful success. And I mentioned before that there is quite a bit of room to go for Russian troops when they truly could capture Chasiv because they still need to establish to get to them to this freshwater channel up north of Chasiv. They only managed to establish bridgehead. Well, it's not really bridgehead, but they managed to get to this to the freshwater channel south of it. So again, they need to build pincers. Otherwise, they do try right now make like frontal attacks towards Chasiv. And it just does not work, or basically, in other words, it will take quite a bit of time to capture the CVR in that way, and quite a bit of resources, which is probably not going to happen that way, and most likely that eventually Russian command will realize that they need to do typical maneuver, and it's also hard because you need to cross this freshwater channel. So anyways, so this is not going to be quick and easy walk for Russian troops, but the writing is definitely on the wall. It's going to be very protracted story here. Now let's look at the situation on central Donbass front line. Things here are obviously not great. There is no significant losses by Ukrainian side over this couple of days, but it's more of a situation where Russian troops are sort of digesting it's their gains over past days, and they slowly advancing. So they already here they initiated fight for Novoalexandrivka, so they already here. They're on the way to Kalinove. So basically, they already engaged fighting for Novopokrovsk, for Sokol. So they are advancing. They not advancing as fast right now, and that's this goes back to what I said, that this is where Russian troops need reinforcement and additional troops, because the density is obviously going down naturally for many reasons, because of the capturing new territories and because of the losses. So the Russian side needs to replenish, or not replenish, but add sort of more troops, or this attack will eventually stop and bog down, uh, due to sort of self-limiting reasons, not because Ukrainian troops are much more stronger or more capable, and so on. And for now, we do know that Ukrainian troops here are getting reinforcements, reserves, so that also will, you know, additionally will be another force that stop Russian troops from advancing quickly here. So for some time, probably going to be here, sort of pull and push, and eventually through attrition, Russian forces probably will start moving forward in some over some time. It's hard to predict timeline on this, but for now, things here, I cannot call it stabilized, but they really slowed down to very slow pace for Russian side. Now, this is the same basically picture. If I look at the situation on the sort of southern sector, Russian troops are still fighting for Krasnohorivka. It's again going to take some time. They pushing west of Marinka, pushing west of Novomykhailivka. So there is slow move, but it's slow. There is no real breaches like what happened near Cheratina. So that was really big success for Russian side when it happened. But so far, otherwise things are sort of much more slower elsewhere. Now let's look at the situation on the Zaporizhya front line. Things here also sort of relatively slow. It's not an area where Russian command is putting tremendous effort, but they continue pressure against Robotyne. They still have not managed to capture the full like village like completely, but it's, I would say, largely captured by Russian troops, but not all of the 100%. So essentially, it's close to be there. In terms of this area around Velika Novosilka, Russian troops managed to get to the south of this village Robotyne and actually hold the southern edge of the village. So there are some advances. They are not critical, and definitely that's not where Russian command is sort of putting most of their effort. Now let's move to the last section of the front line along Dnipro River. Things here are more or less status quo. Nothing truly meaningful happening here. There is no active and aggressive attempts by Russian command to destroy Ukrainian bridgehead near Kherson. That's all for today. Thanks for watching, and until next time, bye bye.